Intelligence is not always used for good. Sometimes, it is used to build. Sometimes, it is used to survive. And sometimes, it is used to deceive. In the avian world, few minds are as sharp, strange, and unsettling as the minds of crows, robins, jays, and magpies. They watch from rooftops, gather on wires, and wait on cathedral spires like black-feathered judges above the human world, watching, learning, scheming. A crow stands in the street with a walnut in its beak. It does not try to crack the shell by force. Instead, it drops the nut onto the road and waits. Akarpasis. The shell breaks, but the crow does not rush in. It waits for the traffic light to turn red, then walks into the road and collects its reward. Perfect timing. Perfect execution. This is not luck. This is strategy. The crow has turned the human city into a tool. A mind like this does not simply react to the world. It calculates. Nearby, a jay hides a peanut in the ground, then notices another bird watching. The jay freezes. It knows it is being observed, so it performs a trick. It pretends to bury the peanut in one place, then flies away with the real food hidden safely in its beak. The rival bird digs in the fake spot and finds nothing. Misdirection is the soul of deception. And in the world of corvids, deception is not an accident. It is a skill. A crow can recognize a human face, not just a shape or movement, but a face. If you threaten one, it may remember you for years. If you wear a mask while disturbing them, they may attack that mask later, even when another person wears it. The danger becomes a symbol, and the warning spreads. One crow learns, then another, then another. The grudge becomes social knowledge, a memory carried across generations. Those. They may look like ordinary birds, but inside the skull of a crow, dense networks of neurons fire with astonishing speed. Their brains are not large like ours, but they are efficient, compact, and powerful. In many problem-solving tasks, ravens and crows show abilities comparable to primates. They understand tools, but more importantly, they can make them. A New Caledonian crow bends a wire into a hook. It does not wait for the perfect tool to appear. It adapts the world to fit its needs. The hook slips into a deep hole, pulls out a grub, and solves a problem humans did not expect a bird to solve. This is engineering in feathers. Then there is the voice. A raven can imitate human speech. A jay can mimic a hawk. A crow can copy sounds from the human world, a ringtone. A siren. A strange voice in the trees. Sound becomes a weapon. A jay screams like a hawk near a feeder. Smaller birds scatter in fear. The jay lands alone and eats in peace. The lie works, and the reward is immediate. Corvid intelligence is not only about tools, it is about social manipulation. They understand that other minds can be influenced. They understand attention, timing, and fear. A magpie looks into a mirror. Most animals see only a rival, but the magpie notices a mark on itself and tries to remove it. A sign, perhaps, of self-awareness. The me inside the mirror. A crow stands over the body of another dead crow. Soon, more arrive. They gather quietly and inspect the scene, often without touching the body. Is it a funeral or a forensic investigation? Maybe both. They are learning. Where did danger come from? A cat, a hawk, a human, a disease. Death becomes data. The flock studies the loss so the living can survive. A raven follows a wolf pack across the snow. It calls out when it finds a carcass. The wolves arrive and tear it open. The raven waits, then takes its share after the hunters finish. The scout receives attacks for information, symbiosis, intelligence, and patience blend into one survival system. Two ravens work together to steal fish. One distracts the fisherman, while the other grabs the prize and flies away. Later, they share the meal in a high tree. Honor among thieves. A crow drops stones into a water tube. On the belne, the stones fall. The water rises, and the floating food comes within reach. Physics inside a feathered mind. A crow opens a backpack zipper and pulls out a sandwich. It did not invent the zipper, but it learned the mechanism. And learning human mechanisms is how wild intelligence enters our world. A raven unties a knot. A crow slides down a snowy roof on a lid, then flies back up to do it again. Not for food, not for survival, for play, for stimulation, for the strange pleasure of a mind that does not want to be bored. This may be the most unsettling part. They are not only smart enough to survive, they are smart enough to enjoy themselves. And sometimes, enjoyment becomes trouble. Intelligence evolves under pressure. A raven faces a locked box. It tries one method, fails. Tries another, fails again. Then finns the hylden lever. The box opens. The reward appears. Eureka. To a corvid. Information can be as valuable as food. Once one bird learns, another watches. The second solves the same task faster. Learning without doing. Social eavesdropping. Knowledge moves through the group like electricity through a wire. But with knowledge comes competition. Two birds fight over a twig tool. One hides it when another approaches. Privacy becomes a defensive strategy. A raven makes a gesture with its beak, and another raven looks in the same direction. Joint attention. A sign of high intelligence. They are not merely making noise. They are directing attention, sharing focus, and possibly communicating complex ideas. Urban crows open trash cans, pull plastic bags apart, and search waste for food. To them, our garbage is not garbage. It is opportunity. They wait at pedestrian crossings, watch traffic lights, and navigate the concrete jungle with the focus of a commuter. A raven steals a windshield wiper blade. Maybe for material, maybe out of curiosity, maybe simply because it can. A crow mimics a police siren. Humans turn their heads, confused. Attention has been manipulated. The bird sits hidden, watching the effect. A corvid sees more than movement. It sees reaction. It tests the environment. If I make this sound, what will they do? If I pull this string, what will happen if I steal this object? How will the human respond? They hide tools. They move tools. They protect what looks like intellectual property. When another bird searches for a hidden object, the first moves it to a new place. Counterintelligence. An arms race within the flock. Even hygiene becomes experimentation. Some birds use ants on their feathers. Others interact with cigarette butts, possibly because chemicals repel parasites. Toxic adaptation, a dark kind of innovation. At the edge of the city, a bird looks out over the skyline, the master of the landscape. Its eye dilates, processing the world. The mind deepens. But every genius has a shadow. Deception requires a theory of mind. To deceive, you must understand that another creature can believe something false. You must know what they see, what they do not see, what they expect, and what they fear. A crow waits for a human to leave a picnic. But instead of stealing food, it steals the keys. The human becomes frantic. The crow watches from a branch. Is this play, curiosity, or something darker? A raven moves another bird's hidden food. Psychological warfare. A bird pretends to be injured to lure a cat. The cat lunges, but the bird flies away at the last second, then lands behind the cat and pecks its tail. Mastery of the close call. The bully of the backyard. A crow unlaces a person's shoelaces. The person stumbles. The bird squawks. A sense of humor, or just an experiment in inconvenience. A raven steals a shiny spoon and hides it in a vent. A crow drops a stone on a sleeping dog. The dog wakes, barking at nothing, while the bird watches calmly, manipulating reality. A jay mimics a hawk to empty a feeder. Other birds scatter, and the jay eats everything. Gluttony through fear. A crow unfastens the latch of a rabbit hutch. The rabbit runs out. Chaos erupts, and the crow steals the carrots. The true go. A raven says hello from somewhere in the trees. A stranger stops and looks around. No one is there. Only the ghost in the branches. Then comes a low chuckle. The prankster. A bird hides food in a fake hole. The rival checks and finds nothing. The first bird moves the real food to a third location. Double deception. Triple deception. A raven pulls a child's hair softly. The child turns, but the raven is already 10 feet away. Untouchable. A crow drops a nut onto a person's head. The person looks up. A second nut falls. Sustained harassment. Then comes the call loud. Rough. A declaration of war. A raven steals a golf ball from a green. The golfer stares in disbelief. Human rules mean nothing here. The bird drops the ball into a water hazard. Spiteful play. A crow unzips a tourist's bag, pulls out a passport, and flies to a roof. A hostage situation. The human offers bread. The crow drops the passport. The transaction is complete. The bird leaves with the bread. The winner. Crows pull the tails of eagles, harass hawks, and gather in mobs to drive away predators, many times their size. Speed against power. Numbers against strength. The mob mentality. A jay imitates a crying baby. A person searches the bushes. The bird escapes silently. The ultimate emotional manipulation. And yet, this intelligence is not evil. It is not moral in the human sense. It is adaptive. It is ancient. It is sharp because the world is sharp. They were here before us, and they may be here after In a high-tech lab, a crow picks up cigarette butts and trades them for food pellets. A new economy of intelligence. If humans build the machine, the crow will learn the rules. If the rules produce food, the crow will participate, clean the street, receive the seed. A crow living in the ruins of an abandoned building adapts to our failures. Where we leave decay, it finds shelter. Where we leave trash, it finds tools. Where we leave systems, it finds loopholes. A child feeds a crow by hand. Later, the crow returns with a piece of colored glass. A transaction of friendship, or something close to it. A crow watches a person use a smartphone. It studies the movement of fingers. Later, it pecks at an abandoned tablet. The screen responds. Interactive learning. An accidental hacker. A raven perks on a drone. The new sky has arrived, but the raven is not afraid. It flies beside the machine, tests the distance, and pecks at the camera. Curiosity against technology. A crow weaves a discarded face mask into its nest. The ultimate recycler. Nature and trash become architecture. Ravens gather on a satellite dish. A global network of black feathers and metal signals. The bird taps the dish, searching for vibrations, then looks toward the stars. Ancient observers beneath a modern sky. Birds are the living descendants of dinosaurs. The strategist did not appear from nowhere. It is the result of millions of years of adaptation. A raptor's eye becomes a crow's eye. The evolution of the planner. The voice of the past still screams through the present. A crow follows a person into a subway station, rides above a train, and hops off at the next stop as if commuting with purpose. A raven stands on a solar panel, seeing itself in the reflective surface, a black figure inside a machine of the future. A crow uses a discarded credit card to scrape bark. Finds a boo. Eats it, then drops the card into a drain. Modern tool. Functional luxury. Disposal. A raven watches a rocket launch in the distance. Human power roars into the sky. The bird does not flinch. It turns back to its own business. Superior indifference. A crow stands inside a traffic cone. Its caw echoes louder than before. Acoustic engineering. Making the world listen. Other birds answer from far away. The network is live. On a park bench, a person cries. A crow watches. Is it empathy or clinical study? The bird drops a shiny pebble at the person's feet. A gesture of something. The person looks up. The bird is gone. Only the pebble remains. The gift of the watcher. Then the flock rises. A field of crows takes flight at once. The sky turns black with wings. The eclipse of intelligence. The sound of 1,000 feathers becomes thunder. But one bird remains on a high wire, the individual within the mass. Its beak clicks. It cleans one feather carefully. Then it looks at the moon. A massive leap. The final takeoff. The bird soars over the darkened city. Because when the sun goes down, the night belongs to them. The strategist. The trickster. The thief. The engineer. The survivor. They inherit our rooftops. Our wires. Our trash. Our machines. And our icons. In the deep forest, far from the city, the empire remains. Not built from steel. Not built from roads. But from memory, deception, cooperation, and relentless attention. A black feather falls in slow motion and lands on a computer keyboard. Ancient intelligence meets the digital world. The Machiavellian mind. Intelligence comes in many forms. Do not underestimate the one in the wings, because while you are watching them, they are watching you. And when the raven finally flies into the bright sun, one message remains. Stay sharp.